if I have to be in quarantine, and it looks like I do, I can't think of a better place to be than in a neighborhood with wide open community areas with a nice breeze. I would rather be in the sun because it looks a little dark in here, but then I'm afraid the sun is behind me, so you'd have a glare on the screen, and so I guess you'll just have to deal with a little bit of shade. You can probably figure out why I need to be in quarantine. I had a potential exposure Saturday night, but I didn't find out about it till yesterday. So I've been riding in the car with my landlord Sunday and Monday. Went to my parents Monday night. Hopefully they didn't get exposed. I don't know exactly what the theory is if you're not symptomatic, because my friend that tested positive on Wednesday was not symptomatic Saturday, but my landlord believes that it takes 5 days after exposure to become symptomatic. So we're thinking maybe she was exposed on Thursday, then I was with her Saturday. She started feeling bad Tuesday night, did an at-home test Wednesday, which my parents say they have an at-home test. I don't have one. But if I was exposed Saturday and today's Thursday, that's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So if it takes 5 days, I should have gotten it today or maybe tomorrow. If you see me in a video tomorrow, you know I'm all right. And I think with the sun I get, with the way I eat, I don't think there'll be any problems, but that's not what I got on this video to talk about. So welcome to today's video. Let's talk about the next 6 months. I've got some big plans I've been able to finalize over the last few days, I guess, maybe a week. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about those today. I'm not wearing the blue polo shirt because this video is most likely going up on both of my channels, because it's kind of chilling with Chip and a health video. I guess somebody's getting their grass mowed behind me, and the man is working in his garage right down the hill here, so you may hear a saw or a hammer or something like that too. I was hoping you could hear the birds. But anyway, if you've followed me for very long, and many of you have, you know I made what I called a big leap in 2020. What year is this? 2022? So 2021, when I left my full-time job and I moved to Virginia. I'm not sure exactly how I explained that or what my top three goals were at that time, but ultimately it was to get closer to my parents and work on becoming location independent. Well, I ended up with an apartment, and it's been okay, but it hasn't been ideal, even though since I talked, I guess I'm gonna have to give a little bit of background, because I did talk about that on the Chillin' with Chip channel. I'm not sure I talked about it on this channel, but there were some, let's call them misunderstandings between me and one of the other tenants in the building that I live in, where I thought I was bothering her more apparently than I was. But anyway, we've kind of smoothed that over now, and the landlord has intervened and has taken multiple steps to try to improve the quality of the life in the apartment. So what I'm going to say maybe go against what I've said in some of my more recent videos, but all of that commotion kind of almost forced me to put this plan into place. That's a really loud mower. But these yards are really small, so it shouldn't be very long. It's not like this big common area. And maybe they'll go in the back, but the backs are all hills though, so I don't know. Okay, well anyway, many of you are aware that for like a year now I have been studying under an occupational psychologist whose main goal is to help you become your future self now. Of course, I always move kind of slow and do things, take longer to do things than most people would, because I gotta think about them from every possible angle before I do them. And if I do this, this could happen. If I do that, that could happen. You know, which of the coulds or woulds or shoulds would I prefer? And sometimes you make a decision and you can't change it. So I oftentimes try to have decisions to where I don't burn the bridge behind me. And I don't think this is a burning bridge kind of scenario, although it could be. But anyway, I have now come up with a plan for the final 2 quarters of 2022. We are in 2022, aren't we? Yeah, so I have some notes here. I don't know if I'll read them, and they go into kind of health, wealth, and travel, or chilling. But because of the situation, I wasn't completely comfortable in the apartment I was in, even though I like it being here fairly close to my parents. And I'm still drinking because I still have allergies. I haven't coughed or sneezed any more than I did 2 or 3 weeks ago, so I don't believe I'm actually manifesting any signs of infection. But as much vitamin D as I produce with getting in the sun every day, I'm hoping my immune system is sufficient. So what is this big leap I'm planning for 2022? It is that by the 4th quarter, which could be the end of the year, December 31st, 2022, I will be completely location independent, and I will be able to survive off of remote income, which includes both of these channels and the new job I've just taken, which is completely remote, but also pays very little. So there's really 2 things you need to do if you're trying to conserve resources. That's either lower your expenses or increase your income. In this particular instance, I'm hoping I can do both. So ultimately, why I signed up for Trusted House Sitters, which I have a whole video on the other channel, or on Chilling with Chip. I guess this is going to be on both channels, even though I'm talking like it's only going to be on CP59 Fit. But if you saw my last video on Chilling with Chip about I'm now a trusted house sitter, you may have seen that the plan is to keep my apartment probably at least through the end of September, maybe the end of October, maybe the end of the year, and then test out a plan to see if I can get house sits at least 90% of the nights. You know, if I have to stay with mom and dad a week, or with my friend in Fredericksburg, or my brother in Pennsylvania, or my friend in North Carolina, or maybe some of y'all in Canada or Minnesota or Texas, that's all right, because these things are kind of hard to schedule back to back to back, because especially with the airline delays and travel plans always being delayed, you don't want to book a sit right after the, you know, if somebody says they're going to be done on January 10th, you don't necessarily want to book one starting January 10th or 11th if you got to drive very far. So that's the kind of stuff I'm figuring out. So that's why I say if I can get somewhere in the 80 to 90% range booked from now till the end of September, I will probably give up my apartment in October, maybe, I don't know, the 1st or end, and then just try house sitting as a full-time place to have accommodations. That also gives me the ability to move across the country. Right now I have 3 house sits booked. I just got accepted for the 3rd one today. So I will start July 15th in Roanoke, Virginia, with 2 puppies in a very historic house. And Roanoke's kind of in the mountains. It's only about an hour from where I went to college. I may go down and see my old alma mater, Virginia Tech. And then I think that's July 15th through the 17th, so basically a Friday afternoon until a Sunday afternoon, 2 nights in the house. And then technically I'm available that whole week, and then I've booked one for, I think it's 13 days in Fredericksburg, in a 55 plus community, with 1 puppy, 1 Chorky, I think they call it. I guess that's a crossbreed of a Yorkie and something else, but it's a little tiny dog. But this place, oh my goodness, let me tell you about this. It's a 55 plus community with an indoor and an outdoor pool, and I think a hot tub. So yes, I will be happy, happy, happy. And it's actually closer to me than my parents is. It's the other way. It would be kind of southeast, and my parents are kind of northeast. I think I'm 38 miles from my parents' house. I don't have the address yet, but it's in a senior community, and it's about 2 miles from my friend's house that I've been cat sitting for in Fredericksburg, and also the one who possibly exposed me. But anyway, that is from July 22nd until August the 4th. But when she confirmed, she said, oh, actually I might have to leave I'm sorry, it's the 23rd. She said, I might have to leave on the 21st. Would you be available then? If not, I can just have a neighbor look in until you can get her on the 20th. I said, I'm finished in Roanoke on the 17th. I go to my parents on the 18th for game night, which all of my sitters that I've had a Monday have said, oh, of course, go spend the time with your parents. The animals are fine 4 or 5 hours by themselves. So it's not really going to change seeing my parents as long as I stay within about an hour of their residence, which would mean doing some in Maryland, and I'm not a big fan of Maryland. Maybe I'll get some in Pennsylvania and just bypass Maryland. But that brings up another point. My niece and nephew that both had babies in the last year are in Pennsylvania, so I'm looking up there for one. But then let me get back to between now and September. That would have to be after September, because then the one in Fredericksburg goes to August the 4th, and then August the 10th, I have one that I told about on my Trusted House Sitters video, which there's a link down in my Linktree. If you do want to try out this, you can get a 25% discount signing up, same as I got, and then you'll give me like 2 free months when you sign up. Another tip I'll throw in here is I have American Airlines Advantage shopping on my computer, and Trusted House Sitters is the site you can earn 1,700 miles on. So I logged into the Advantage shopping, but they also say if it's not a discount code on here, we won't give you the miles. Well, I use the discount code off of YouTube, which I guess is a Trusted House Sitter discount code, and I got an email yesterday saying I had earned 1,700 miles for signing up for this. So that just helps me travel maybe somewhere where I have to fly later. But for this year, I'm definitely trying to stay, well, not for the year, at least through September. This first sit, which is pretty much all booked, I think I've got from now to the 15th of July, which I probably won't look for anything in there, because next Monday is the 4th, so that's only like 10 days. There's all kinds of people asking for the 4th of July, but some of these people don't answer you. I have emailed or applied, is what they call it. I've applied for a sit in Falls Church, where they also have a hot tub, for July the 3rd through like the 12th or something. That lady hadn't even read the email, so they have 3. I think one's in July, one's in September, and one's in October. That would be fairly close to my parents, and I believe it's very close to the Metro line, which is the subway out of DC, which doesn't go to my parents, but it goes within 10 minutes of them. So some of these places I could even get by without my car. In fact, that brings me to back to the one near my parents. I have found out since they've sent me the guide to their house, the sitter's guide or the welcome guide or whatever it's called, that they actually have a Prius that would be available for me to drive if I so choose. Of course, I'll have my Camry hybrid there too. So anyway, I'll have 2 Toyota hybrids available, but I guess that would mean I wouldn't have to use my gas if I don't want to. Maybe if I'm driving the dog around, I'll use their car. If I'm going to my parents, I'll use mine. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But there's a lot of neat stuff to this. But anyway, I'm looking at it mainly as a replacement for Airbnb. And that sit in Ashburn will go from the 10th of August until the 4th of September. And then I talked to my landlord, who still has like a carload of my belongings at her residence in Tyler, Texas. I just talked to her today because I had potentially exposed her, and I said what I'm doing with this house sitting thing is after I finish the sit near my parents, I'm going to look in maybe Knoxville and Little Rock, or Knoxville and Birmingham or Mississippi, and try to get 2 house sits on the way to Texas so that I can end up down there, stay with her a night or 2, load up my car, maybe sort out some of it, throw it away. I don't know. If I'm not going to have an apartment, I probably don't need a lot of what I saved down there. But anyway, get it out of her garage. So when I'm not her tenant anymore, she doesn't have a carload of my belongings cluttering up her house. Oh great, now the man beneath me is getting a delivery. Anyway, oh, this is getting a little long. Anyway, I'm going to try to set up house sits down 81, 40, however I go. I know generally when we go to her house, we cut down through Birmingham and Meridian and Jackson, Mississippi. But the goal is to not have to drive too far. And I don't care if I have to stay for 3, 4 nights a week, whatever. I don't have to pay for a motel, so I'll save $60, $70, $80 a night on Airbnb and hotel fees I'll still have to pay for the gas to get down there. And then I might just stay a week or two in Texas because it'll be like October by then and it won't be 110 degrees. I may stay with my landlord. I might find a house sit. I guess they're going to try to back that truck up. Anyway, I'm in quarantine. There's an awful lot of noise. He must have just stuck it in reverse. Now he's going forward. Thank goodness. It might not even be the right house. They may have been asking directions. I don't know. They didn't unload anything. I saw a really nice house sit in Oklahoma City, which is not real close to Tyler, Texas, but it's drivable 3 or 4 hours. Might even get a chance to see Dr. Mabry when I go back down there, who I've been in contact with him a lot about this blood test. I'll do a video on that shortly. There's nothing to be concerned about, even though there are some things of concern. I've corrected them in the past. I'll correct them again. Now we got the saw going again. Oh well. But anyway, I'm thinking this trusted house sitter is going to work out pretty good, and it may eliminate my rent, as long as I have friends that are willing to. Well, I don't even need friends to put me up if I have a gap, because I have this membership where I can get condos for a week for like $350, which the whole point is to not have to pay rent. But there may be times I have to stay in an Airbnb or a hotel or a condo for a day or two or a week, but that's a whole lot cheaper than paying rent in an apartment. Of course, I don't have anywhere to store anything either, so I would be living with what I can have in my car and maybe a small storage bin. I just don't know where the storage bin would be. But this will also give me the option, you know, to go to beaches in the winter or the summer, mountains in the summer, maybe beaches in the winter. Anyway, I can search after perpetual spring, which is always good for your health, and kind of almost be a full-time retiree with remote income. So I need to build this channel up, so be sure to find the little red, white, and blue button over here if you're on the CP59 Fit channel, and down below there should be a subscribe button, or at the very end on the end screen on Chillin' with Chip. I haven't gone through and remembered how to put a little button on it permanently on the second channel yet, but soon my big leap for 2022 is in the next 6 months to become completely location independent, living my best life, house sitting in other people's homes that are generally a whole lot nicer than anything I can afford. Sometimes using their car, sometimes being on a train route or a subway route, and going anywhere in the country I want to go, creating income through a remote way of creating income. Or continuing to live off of my savings, either way, but slowing the bleed, you know, getting rid of rent. That's about 60, maybe 70% of my expenses right now. My health insurance and car insurance, phone, and food is probably only half of what my rent is. So could be up all the way up to 66, 70%. If I can get rid of that in the next 3 months, I will be one happy camper. And if I can stay, you know, fairly close to my parents, I still get the same benefit of having this apartment here without the hassles. Although it is kind of a hassle to move every month or every 2 weeks. I am definitely looking for the longer sits, you know, so I don't have to move every 3 or 4 days. If I can move every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 6 months, whatever, that's definitely ideal. So anyway, by the end of this year, or throughout the rest of the year, you'll be seeing me reporting from all kinds of different nice places, and you might see some of the cute little pets I'm sitting for. In the meanwhile, be sure to stay safe out there. Love you. Bye-bye.